Good evening, everybody.
Yep. Got a good rain yesterday, didn't we? That was a nice relief, wasn't it?
For some,
I was being sarcastic.
I had a couple of fields that actually got 6/10.
So yeah, looking at the radar, I was like, I think some people probably did all right. Which a half inch was kind of what I was. I was like, man, if I can get a half inch, you know what I got at my house?
A tenth.
That's being generous.
Really?
I've got that precision gauge. It was like 0.09. Like you might as well call it a tenth, but that you're being a little bit generous to call it a tenth.
That's what here Dad said. He said he didn't even get a tenth.
Yeah, I was right there with him. Yeah, once you kick, I mean, because it kind of looked rainy all day. 'Cause it's like, we're
Yeah.
right. But you kicked the gravel, it was dusty underneath. But
Towards Covington, I had some farms. They got 6/10.
well, see,
But
that's
Bolton, it was a desert. Didn't get any rain.
oh man, see, I was thinking that tenth. I was like, well, I probably got the least of anywhere.
No, yeah, Bolton. I mean, Bolton might have got a tenth.
Yeah,
And that, unfortunately, the further you went that way, the less rain we got versus like Covington. And all the beans needed it, but the ones further that away were my later planted, and they needed it much worse.
yeah, and there's not much in the forecast.
No. And prices, well, before we get into that, we need to take care of some business. You got the hat on. You need to go to agzaga.com. Get your stuff.
Agzaga.com. Yep, check them out. Still baling hay. I know a lot of y'all are out there doing the same. If you're running low on net wrap, like I'm probably gonna need to order a little more from them. I'm gonna use that discount code, Talk Dirt, all caps, all one word, 10% off. Yeah, check out all their other stuff too.
Yep. Get on there. What are you drinking?
I am drinking, courtesy of Mr. Tim, the bottle we didn't open last week. I'm trying the New Riff single barrel.
Is it good? Did you try it?
I actually have not sipped it yet. I
Let's
just poured
hear
it.
Let's see how this is.
It is good.
Was it high proof?
Yeah.
That's what
It's 120 proof.
Yeah. I haven't tried it yet because I told Bobby Lee I've been kind of nursing a headache. And clear whiskey does not make a head. Have you ever heard that?
I don't know. Like, yeah, generally, if I've got a headache, I'm probably gonna steer. Like, and I say this, I'm not a huge whiskey guy. Like, if we weren't recording tonight, I did drink a couple beers.
Yeah,
at dinner.
Yeah,
but,
you done a little toot instead.
Right. I'm more of get home, especially this time of year. It's hot, man. It has gotten because we had. Even though we hadn't had much rain lately, we had really nice temperatures last week.
Yeah, good God, it was brutal today.
We gotten back into just the dog days of summer. Yeah, and I see. Yeah, we're gonna be 90s. Well, we get back to 80s for highs next week, but single digit rain chances.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I'm drinking gin.
Gin.
I really stepped out. I actually had not had gin before until about 2 weeks ago.
There for a little while, I got a little bit of a gin and tonic.
I did not put any in there. I just got a gin over the rocks, but I did that. I was trying to get into. I was experimenting with a martini, like with pickle juice, because I had somebody come in the farm store, and they said, "Do you drink any martinis?" And I said, "No, it's pretty much just bourbon." And they said, "Well, you can make a really good like dirty martini because we were selling our pickled okra." And she said, "I'm going to use the juice for my martinis."
Yeah.
So
martinis have gotten so, I don't know if bastardized is the right word, but we're like, because there at one time I was like researching, like, because I guess you can have a vodka martini or a gin martini.
Yeah.
Like a true martini is supposed to just be the liquor,
vermouth
and like olives to garnish. But now you like, we're having an apple-tini or a lemon drop martini. My wife and mother-in-law love a lemon drop martini. People are like, that ain't really that's just a vodka drink. I mean,
and a real martini actually was kind of a man's drink back in the day. I mean, it's James Bond, man. Like,
yeah, and yeah, I don't know. I've never been much of just a martini. But yeah, gin and tonic. Like, to me, that's a good, like, if you want a liquor drink when it's hot, like a gin and tonic with a little wedge of lime. It seems like that's something like where I'm at like a summer wedding and they've got a bar. I'm like,
Well, the first
yeah,
time-
give me a gin and tonic.
First time I ever saw anybody have a gin and tonic was at your wedding.
Okay.
Whenever we were out in Knoxville, or not Knoxville, but Columbia.
Yeah.
And I won't mention his name out of not wanting to make him look bad, but it was like 8:30 in the morning, and we were out there, and I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. He had the back of his car opened up, and he was like, "Boys, anybody want a gin and tonic?" And somebody was like, "Bro, it's 8:30 in the morning."
I'm pretty sure I know exactly who it was.
Yes, and so he was like, he had like a little bar basically on the back of his vehicle, and he was making them.
A wedding day is one of those times. It's kind of like, I saw a meme or whatever. It's like appropriate times to start drinking, and it was like weekday 5 p.m. Like, I don't know, Friday 4 p.m. Weekend like noon.
Yeah.
And it's like at the airport 6:30 a.m. And it is weird. Where like you'll be at an airport, you know, for like a morning flight, and there'll be people sitting there at the bar like having a beer.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, a wedding. I think a wedding day, like, yeah, I don't know that I've ever started at that time of morning. But like tailgating for a football game, you got like a noon kickoff, or sometimes even like 11 a.m.
Oh, and
kickoff.
you've never drank that early at the beach?
8:30. You know, maybe like a Bloody Mary.
Oh man, last time we went to the beach, I think I started drinking. I drink beer at the beach because, you know, you can't have like glass at the down there. So I was drinking beer, and I cracked the first beer probably 8:30 in the morning.
See, my thing there is you either gotta keep pounding them all day,
But that's what I do. I just keep drinking them all day at that point.
or I'm gonna need a nap. Which, I mean, you're at the beach, nothing wrong with taking a nap midday.
I just do. I just drink them. I'll drink like a beer, and then a beer, and then a Gatorade, and then a beer, and that's kind of how I stagger it throughout the day at the beach.
Gotta stay hydrated.
Yep. So, well, we got several things that have happened in the ag world. We did get a really good response out of the last episode with William. So, you know, if you're new listening, encourage you to go check out the last episode we did with our buddy William Lee. I thought it was a really just raw episode about ag and kind of where we're at.
Yeah.
Prices are still absolutely garbage, and they don't seem to be getting any better.
Yeah, and well, we don't have to go through it all again, but yeah, I don't know that we could look for prices on commodities to get a whole lot better anytime just real soon.
You know, there's a drought potential in Brazil.
Yeah.
So, but it's like, it's kind of this is their dry time anyways. So I don't know, because there's a marketing YouTube that I listen to, and so the guy was like, there is a drought potential in Brazil, but he's like, I don't think that it's going to be enough to like swing the markets hard as we need them.
Their winter, getting ready to head into spring, which I know some places they can grow, when right there around the equator, they can grow 2 crops of beans.
Yep.
Don't quote me on that, but yeah, just like here domestically, I've seen where like got a lot of guys and they're talking more about corn, but how they think it's going to be a hell of a crop.
Oh, the USDA killed us again on that. I think the corn average is like 183 or something.
They're expecting probably break a national record as far as average yield.
And I was looking at the states, because the beans is like it's a 53 bushel average, and it was like 6 states that were all going to break their national record is what they were set at, and Tennessee did not make the cut. It said our average bean yield is projected to be about 49 bushels, and I can tell you at the current prices, if mine average 49 bushels, which in a normal year, if mine across the board average 49, I'm usually not upset, but at the current prices, if mine average $49 or 49 bushels, I'm going to be in bad shape. So are a lot of people. So I don't know, man. I'm trying to think what else they were even kind of saying. The corn looks like there could be maybe a slight possibility of an upswing, maybe just a little bit.
On the market, yeah.
Yep. Now the beans, if this drought, there's several things that if they kind of happen, November, they said we could potentially see like a slight uptick in beans in November. But I mean, you know, if you got early beans, you start cutting them in September, hell, you may be done by then. unless
Yeah.
you got storage. And I mean, like in my case, I don't.
Yeah,
But-
I don't know. That's why I was watching just some stuff on YouTube tonight as I was cleaning up the kitchen and whatnot after supper, and some guys that were pulling corn out of the bin. Just, this was like within the last week they had filmed this, and they're like, "Yeah, we're selling this corn at a loss."
Yeah.
But they're getting ready. They're not too far away from being in the field shelling corn. New crop, and so
Yeah.
kind of like, yeah, we got to.
I'll tell you what kind of concerns me. We had as far as the capabilities of harvesting last year, we had probably the best year we've ever had. Like the weather, I mean, it just never rained. And so we harvested, I finished earlier than I ever have. And, they're saying now there's like 25 potential hurricanes over this fall now. Have you seen that? Me and Dad were talking about today. He said they're projecting like September to October or something like 5 to 10 hurricanes or whatever you call them. What do they refer to them as?
Tropical storm.
Tropical storm. Yeah, like 5 to 10 of those potentially to hit in that point, like around Texas and different areas. And I'm like, man, it's been a while since we've had one of those like grueling harvests, and I hope we ain't gearing up for one because
Well, there's one just because I watched some of those, detailed forecast and all out, but it's going to turn. It's not even like it might affect the East Coast, but I'm pretty sure it was like going to go over Puerto Rico, or it already has, and it was going to go, not even really affect the Carolinas and all that area. It was going to stay out in the Atlantic. Because the ones that affect us are the ones that get in the Gulf and then hit, like New Orleans and west of there, because then we're getting that counterclockwise, all those bands. But yeah, right about now, I'd be happy with one.
I would too. Yeah, I mean, not to wish terrible weather and storms on our neighbors further down south, but yeah, man, I would definitely take one right now.
Yeah, just to break up this dry pattern we're in, because it's, I don't know, pastures aren't about to burn up or anything, but I'm gonna get the last of my second cutting of hay done this weekend, or get it cut this weekend. And I made the mistake when I rolled hay, I guess a week ago yesterday, and it was really good. And I was kind of doing the math. I was like, man, we're gonna be in good shape on hay. And now
You
I'm
shouldn't
like,
have thought that.
well, I don't know. Like, which I still probably gonna have enough hay just from finishing up this second cutting to probably get me just about through the winter. And I got some that's about ready to cut for the third time, what I was at the very beginning. But anyway, now I'm like, well, if it stays super dry, like this that I'm going to cut this weekend, I might not get a third cut off it. I think I only cut that farm twice last year. I guess, because last year, like you said, through harvest and all, it was so dry, it just didn't really rain. It wasn't enough out there to justify cutting it a third time. Yeah.
Well, there is that potential, looks like, for a lot of tropical storms this fall. And man, I don't know. I tell you, it's aggravating. Like, if that's what it does, it'd be real aggravating, because this is what it always does. And that's why I struggle to bitch about it being rainy and wet in the spring when we're trying to plant. And because it's like, I just know come July, August time frame, it literally always does this. It just shuts off. The rain just stops.
Well, I mean, it's our dry time of year, but it does not, I know people that are in parts of the country that get 20 inches of rain or whatever. Whenever we get 55 inches of rain, when we go 3 or 4 weeks without any real rain, like, we're get to be in bad shape. It doesn't take us long.
No, especially when it's 115 degree heat index.
Well, I was checking the drought monitor the other day, and part of Tipton County, I believe, it was in the lowest level, and so I think it was just the abnormally dry. Like, we're not officially a drought, but
really,
since we missed all that, or most of the area missed that this week, yesterday, I'll be interested to see what it looks like. And then with no real rain, I think there's a tiny chance on Saturday.
Yeah.
Assuming we don't get much out of that, I'd say here in the next week or two, that drought monitor is going to look a little different for right around here.
Our saving grace has been the fact that it has not been just brutally hot until like recently. And that's what today, man, I had my combine out, and I was pressure washing it and hand washing it. I was pressure washing the dirt off of it because I blew it all off last year, but I didn't wash it when I finished harvest, and I always do, but I just was a bum last year. So I've been pressure washing it and then hand washing it behind that. And man, I was up on top of it. I was spraying it off, and I felt like crap. And so I got off of there. That was about 1 o'clock. I went in and ate some lunch and got done eating. I mean, I was wringing wet, and I walked back out to the birdhouse, and Dad and Brock were out here, and Brock was freaking soaking wet. I don't even remember. They had been working on a gate or something. And I said, man, I don't think I'm going to do anything else today. I said, I feel like crap. It was literally 115 heat index. And Brock said, your dad just said we're done for the day. He said, we're going to call it. And Brock his face was red. And that's what he said. I'm glad because I feel like crap. It's so hot. So the heat was brutal, man. I don't know. Tomorrow I'm going to we got the cylinder back on my Volvo. And so the Volvo has been resurrected from the dead. Got the tank off of my Deere, and I'm going to coat it. I bought some liner to put in it. So I'm trying to get both them freaking Tracos back rolling, and I think tomorrow I might hop on a Traco and try to do back a little clear, and got a good AC in the Volvo.
There you go.
I wish.
Oh.
Yeah. When I bought it, I had turned it on, and it was like blowing really cold. And then as I was running, I smelled something burning. I was like, what the hell is that? And when I would turn the Traco, you could see like a whiff of smoke. I was like, dang, what is that? And then my air started like progressively not being cold anymore, and I could hear a squealing sound. I looked, and the freaking compressor is just shot on that thing, and it was like locking up and burning the belt. And so, yeah, no, I don't have air on it.
Oh, no air at all. Oh, wow, yeah.
Yeah. So, be good and toasty there on that tomorrow.
Can you open the front glass?
Yeah.
And hope you don't get any yellow jackets.
Yeah, and it's prime time right now for them little
that's
turds.
Exactly what I was thinking.
I killed 5 nests on the Traco because it had been sitting, and it was like some of those nests. Yeah, some of them were huge. So, but yeah, well, we got a lot of emails. Before that, you said what's currently going on?
So there is a story kind of currently in the news that I like a lot of the stories. I kind of tipped off too, listening to Corbett Wall.
Hey, actually, hold on. Before that, what did we talked about the grain prices, cattle prices? They kind of stayed all right this week, didn't they?
Yeah, they've kind of, and cattle prices are still good. I mean, it's not near as bad as like the grain prices, for instance. But yeah, they've kind of leveled off. I mean, they're still probably not as good as they should be, just based on where all the fundamentals are.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're still okay on cattle.
Gotcha. Okay. So what's going on?
So a story out of South Dakota. Some ranchers, basically, well, and I guess this story kind of combines two of our favorite things: ag and kind of I don't know if
anarchy.
Hatred's the right word, but certainly disdain for the federal government.
All right, so that's pretty close.
Yeah. So basically, it comes down to a dispute over a property line between this family's ranch and U.S. Forest Service land.
Okay.
This ranch has been in their family since I think 1910, or they've been farming that ground, and this particular property line or fence has been there 75 years.
Yeah.
And the current owners of it, best I could figure, that they're just a little younger than me. So that fence has been there twice as long they've been alive. But it's Heather and Charles Mauld, Mauld Hog and Cattle here in South Dakota. And basically, like, there was a little bit of a dispute over, like, is this fence correctly on the property line or whatever. There have been, they're like, well, they had kind of been talking with the Forest Service about it or vice versa, and said, all right, we need to get a survey. And they're like, yeah, well, that'll take a while, whatever. Well, like, lo and behold, like, Forest Service was there like 2 days later doing a survey. He's like, okay. Well, then where things really escalated, like the whole Ron Burgundy, boy, that escalated quickly. I believe it was it was June 24th. He and his wife were served with separate federal grand jury indictments by, I guess, U.S. Forest Service agents, like in tactical gear, like showing up on their porch.
What in the world?
Yeah, like they're just ranchers, like out there, like, and yeah, like just went from 0 to 100.
Why did they say he was way over on them or something?
Oh, like accused them of like stealing land. They're like, this fence has been there longer than I've been alive. Like he didn't even put up the,
Yeah.
it was his, probably his granddad or great granddad that even had built that fence. And
Wow.
but it and you can read about it, but probably the thing I found most interesting was I kind of read a second article about it, where they had interviewed a retired Forest Service ranger, and he basically said he's not surprised that the Forest Service acted like that, and he kind of goes into detail, and I feel like it fits with kind of the way a lot of federal agents, with whatever ages, over the last decade or two, how they've gotten extremely hostile.
Yeah.
He's like, used to we didn't even carry guns, and like now there's been and I think that guy actually retired in like 05, so he's been retired nearly 20 years. It's like now they have much more of like a law enforcement like feel to them rather than being park rangers. And he's like, I'm kind of surprised they didn't show up with an armored vehicle and dozens of agents. He's like, he even says like used to like little disputes like this would be settled over a cup of coffee.
Yeah.
Like at the local diner.
What's the guy's name that's the landowner right now?
Charles, right? Maude, Maude is their last name.
Hold on.
But
Charles, say that again.
Maude, Maude. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but we're going to pretend I am. But this one, I mean, and we give NCBA a hard time, deservedly. But even they are behind this guy. I mean, it was even on RFD. I watched a video from RFD, and I believe they were interviewing somebody with NCBA this week talking about it, how you feel like there's enough outrage going over this, it's going to get resolved pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And like that retired ranger had said, it's like, it sounds like this was one kind of dickhead, ranger that was, just, I don't know if he's fresh out of the academy or
Maybe
whatever.
he couldn't make it on the police force. So.
Yeah, but it sounds like, he's just being a real dickhead about it and overzealous.
Yeah.
But
wow.
yeah, I mean, if fence needs to be moved, yeah, and it's just totally always been in the wrong spot. Like, I understand that, but then at the same time, like, it's been there for 75 years.
I was gonna say, it ain't like that dude went out there and put the fence up last week.
Well, and again, we're not getting, because actually both sides, so they really can't talk about it. But one interesting thing, and I don't know enough of the legalities behind everything, he and his wife were served separate indictments. And so, like, not only are they like not supposed to talk about it, they're technically not supposed to talk about it even with each other.
Oh,
so, like,
okay.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I bet they're not talking about it.
Yeah, but yeah, it's just,
why would they get served separate indictments?
I don't know. And if it's my immediate thought is they're just trying to throw the book at them, really intimidate them, overwhelm them, and everybody knows that when you try to fight the federal government in court, like, that's a damn losing battle. You're literally,
well, you gotta have numbers of people on your side if you're going to try to do anything like that, because
but
you're not going to
sounds like they're getting that at least.
You're not going to outspend the federal government.
I haven't heard of any lawmakers really coming out yet, but all the industry organizations, RCAF, U.S. Cattlemen's Association, and for better or worse, NCBA,
and talk dirt to me.
Yeah, Talk Dirt to Me is now on their side, but
yeah,
NCBA does kind of swing the biggest hammer just because they're the biggest of those groups, and so them getting involved is. Did
you renew your membership?
I have not. No, I'm not an NCBA member. Even though when they send you that have I talked about that on here? Because if you join the state Cattlemen's Association, they're an affiliate of the NCBA. Then NCBA will send you like basically a request for you to join them, but it's not even. They don't package it to look like a request. It's basically a bill they're sending you.
Oh, really?
Like, you owe us this, and it's like, no, I'm not going to join. But it's like, yeah,
they can almost intimidate you in there.
Here's your invoice for what you owe. Yeah, it's almost like, oh wow, yeah, I need to hurry up and pay this.
Yeah,
and it's like, no, it's voluntary. Like, you can You don't have to join, but
Wow. Now I have been. I guess when I re-upped my Master Beef thing, I am a member of RCAF. I did join RCAF, and I think I renewed my U.S. Cattlemen's.
yeah.
Because I like them, because we talked about them. But yeah, NCBA. Hell, I want to say the first time me and you went through the Master Beef program, I became an NCBA member. Because I think, did they make you?
Well, you were probably a Tennessee Cattlemen's Association member.
I was, because you also had the quality certification.
BQA, yeah.
Which had expired on me a long time ago.
But it, like I say, because Tennessee Cattlemen's is the state affiliate of the National Cattlemen's, Beef Association. So they, and I joined too back then.
Yeah, I'd get the Beef magazine.
All bad. Now they, unfortunately, over the last, several years, have gotten to where they're really in line with the meat packers. But yeah, we don't need to spiral off down that rabbit hole.
Well, we'll keep monitoring with
I
Charles.
hope that gets resolved pretty quickly. Just because, man, I feel like certainly these agents with any federal group, like, they certainly don't have the attitude of it, but they work for us.
Yes.
Like, they work for the taxpayer. Like, and I don't know, and again, we don't know all the details of the story. Maybe there's more to it than what we know. There no doubt is, but like, was there something else going on there?
It sounds like it's gotta be.
Did this guy, like, I don't know,
murder a bunch of people and bury their bodies over there?
Yeah, or like, does he have history with this particular ranger where he picked on him in high school or something?
Yeah, banged his wife. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But you're just like, what? Like, why is this dude acting like this?
Yeah, it just sounds. It sounds very, like, almost personal. That's what I would think.
But yeah, I think that kind of reminds, like, we can sit back and bitch about it, but need to be involved, whether it's just locally. You ain't got to run for office, but call your county commissioners, call your your city council members. If you and be involved.
Yeah.
When there's an issue, coming before Congress, call your congressman. You're going to talk to a staffer, say, hey, I'm such from live in the district, and we want him or her to vote this way on this bill, and this is why. That's why it's important to us. And it doesn't take long to do it. A lot of times you can do it online, through an email or make a call. Like, they're required to listen, even if they don't vote the way you ask them to. Yeah. Obviously, voting's the one thing everybody's like, yeah, you got to vote, yeah, and that's clearly a very big one. But you can be more involved even than that in terms of you're trying to make a little difference.
Yeah.
But,
well, we'll keep track of that. All right, guys, we got a lot of emails here, and again, for those of you that want to write in to us, go to talkdirtpodcast.com. Go to the contacts page, and you can submit your question on there. It's the best place to do it because it sends it right to the email. Just do it there. Comment everywhere else. We'd love for you to comment on our YouTube videos. We've been lacking on the YouTube comments. So give us some comments on there. Let us know what you think.
And also, while you're on, we still got some shirts. Certain sizes we're getting really low on stock, but and obviously the shirt with the "come tag it" is a little bit of a tell the government to stay in their lane kind of thing. Right. Not to tread on us.
That's right. I like it. All right, CJ Graham writes in. Is there any way I can get the link to the feed program that Bobby Lee uses?
Man, I've sent a bunch of those this week. He may have even emailed me too. What was his name?
CJ Graham.
CJ Graham. I'll look and see, because I bet in the last 24 hours I've sent that to probably 3 or 4 people.
Oh, I'm gonna text this to you just to be safe. Whoops, not Dropbox. See, guys, that's how quick we get this out. I'm texting Bobby Lee right now. There you go. I just sent you his email. It's got his email in it. All right. CJ, he said, thanks, CJ. Appreciate it, man. Feel free to write in anytime. All right. Lee writes in. Okay. All right, he writes in, "Hey guys, avid listener here. I currently work for a seed company out of Arkansas. I would love to hear some more about how Logan got started with the farm store, where to start, how to market products, best produce to try and grow, etc. I love working in ag, but grew up farming with my family and looking for options to get out of corporate America. Thanks for any info." All right, man, I'll tell you, in this first year, this is really the first year I'd say we've like been open, and we're still open very sporadically because we're only open because we're not bringing in anything. Like, we're trying to grow or make everything that we sell. And so that obviously limits your supply. And I mean, we can't keep stocked up. We sell out of everything. And it's a good problem to have, but you just wish you could be open more. So how did we get started, or where to start? Man, I'll tell you where I would start, and people told me this, and I'm hard-headed, and they're like, man, just start small, grow slow. And I was like, oh man, first year we're going to plant 250 tomato plants and all this, and like I kept piling it on and piling it on and piling it on. And I can tell you, next year, I'm actually going to downsize how much I do of quite a few things. Tomatoes being a huge one. We got a lot of tomatoes because we had 250 or something plants. But we honestly didn't get that many more tomatoes than if we had done about 20 plants and let them just really, really babied them, really give them the attention they needed. Because my dad out here, he has probably 20 plants or 15 plants or something, and he got a tremendous amount of tomatoes off of his. And so I would say start first small and slow. I would actually encourage you probably to just sell basically out of the back of your truck for the first year, just to kind of gauge the interest. If you live near a highway or something like that, man, I'd grow some stuff and sell out of your truck. How to market products. Social media is the ultimate weapon on that, and that's what we did. We created a Facebook page for our store. When we're open, we share like ahead of time what our hours are going to be. People come there, and you could do the same, come up with a catchy name. We're the Little Blue Farm Store is what ours is called, because it's a little blue building on the farm. Come up with a catchy name for your, even if it's a truck patch, whatever farms, and create you a Facebook page and just start putting some pictures up there, show your products, share it to your friends and family, get them to share it. You can even boost it on there if you don't have a ton of like close contacts. Boost that to just really push the ad out. So I would market it really heavily on social media. Best produce to try and grow. Okay, so he's in Arkansas.
I'm about to say, it may depend on where you are.
Yeah. His climate, since he's in Arkansas, I'm assuming seed company, his climate's probably pretty similar to ours.
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you, the big one, if you have access to the planter, or you have a way to plant it, I'd plant sweet corn. Sweet corn is going to bring people. We have learned that the trick is getting people in the door. If you can get people in the door, you can sell a lot of stuff. I mean, we had watermelon, but a prime example, and I think I even shared this on here. We grew a bunch of squash. We had a lot of squash come in early before anything else. My wife put up pictures of squash on Facebook, on her page, and she was like, I'm going to go open the store. We literally only had squash. She opened the store. One person came and bought squash. We sold like 2 squash. Had a ton of squash. Didn't make any money off of that. Well, sweet corn, first patch, I planted 2 patches. I planted them several weeks apart. And so the first patch comes in. We had some tomatoes in. We had squash in. And some sauerkraut. And the sauerkraut was like crack cocaine. Like it sold, like I felt like I was like, this must be what it feels like to be like a drug dealer. Like the way I was selling sauerkraut. People were buying that stuff like crazy. We sold out of it in 2.5 days. But the squash sold its ass off. And it was because people came in, they'd get them a dozen ears of sweet corn. We had the squash all laid up there pretty on the counter. And they'd be like, well, hey, I'll get some squash. They'd go good with this, and they'd get some. And we would sell out a squash every day. Like every day we had fresh picked squash, it would sell out. It would not sell by itself. Like it wasn't a draw factor. So sweet corn, I would grow it. There was a lot of demand for tomatoes, but don't go overboard. Tomatoes, they require a lot of attention. Sweet corn is easy.
Pests and disease.
Pests and disease. See, we had blight getting ours really bad. So, you know, those, but a ton of people want tomatoes. And so, I mean, I would grow some tomatoes. I wouldn't go crazy with them because one thing about it, sweet corn and tomatoes, there's a bunch of people around here that grow that now. But I still had people all the time, you got any tomatoes? So I would grow sweet corn and tomatoes, and I would grow peppers because peppers are super easy. Like, you know, I have no pest issue with pepper plants. Like,
yeah,
you plant them and sprinkle some triple 15 around them. Make sure they get a little water every now and then. And them dudes they will just keep on and on and on. I mean, they'll just keep producing. I got some ghost peppers that are coming in right now. We're going to make some salsa with some ghost pepper. I'm pretty pumped for that. But I would grow peppers, and I'm trying to think, man. For the first year, I'd grow things that are relatively easy. I'll tell you another one, peas, like black-eyed peas. They're very easy to grow, and people want peas. Like, and see, you kind of, by doing that, you can stagger your sweet corn patch. You could plant a real early patch, plant like a mid-year patch, then you plant your peas. I planted my peas in like July. So plant your peas, plant them late, and those will kind of come in leading into the fall. And so that way you kind of have something to sell throughout the year. And, you know, you get into wintertime, hell, you take that money and go do a lot of duck hunting and have a good time.
Or you can have some cool season crops, some greens. And some broccoli and whatnot. Well, I've grown some, never on any kind of scale, but some decent broccoli that our problem is we're so hot.
Yeah.
When you kind of need to be planting it doesn't do that good. But I've had some that, we get into like early December, we'd have some broccoli to harvest.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what that's a quick rundown of how I would encourage you to do it. But I would start, I don't know if you live near, like in the town, hell, set you up a little stand out in your front yard. And I don't know how old you are. Let's see, you said grew up farming with your family, looking for options to get out of corporate America. I don't know your age, but if you got kids, hell, man, they're a marketing tool, man. Use your kids in there. I mean, that's what I tell my wife. I'm like, one of our strengths is the fact that I got some beautiful 6-year-old twins, and we'll have them holding some ears of corn, and you take a picture of them and put it up, and people are like, oh, they just love it and share it. And so, I mean, and part of the interaction people like with this is they like to actually get to talk to the farmer. Like, they enjoy that interaction and coming to the farm.
Well, and I like, knowing where my money's going. Like, it's going to good local people. I'm not going to Kroger where they're providing some jobs for our local community, but that's a corporate-owned store where the profits are going to some dude, a million miles away from here. At least it seems like it.
That's why I try to put up pictures of like my guns and drug use. I try to put a lot of pictures up so that people know, like, when they buy from me, they just purchased that brick of cocaine and like those AKs that I just bought. Like, that's what I put those up for. No, I'm just definitely kidding there. But yes.
Supporting Pablo.
That's right. That's right. But no, yeah, I completely agree. And I mean, people, dude, now is a great time to get into that. We talked about that, like 2 episodes ago, that really it is a good time to get into that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and you're probably not going to get rich, doing that, especially doing it on the side. But I mean, that's, it's beer money,
Yeah.
And little spending money, have on the side.
And you can, depending on how hard you'll market it, if you push it hard on social media, man, you can really keep going. And the thing about it, if you grow good stuff, because we've done this already, you build like a loyal customer. Like we have, every time we open, my wife, we make salsa or cider and different things. Every time we open, because hell, it might be 2 weeks by the time before we open again. When we open, we'll always have new faces, but we also have a bunch of like return customers. They're like, man, I got to get some more of that salsa, or, they're buying something else. So you start to build a loyal base, and so, be personable. But I would not go like build a building right immediately. We were just kind of honestly, we were in a unique position to do so. But I wouldn't just jump into that like head first like that. I would kind of test the waters, or not even test the waters. I would just ease into it, start selling at a little stand or out of the back of your truck, and on the highway or on the farm. And man, as creative as you want to get. I mean, we're trying to really get creative with it. We want it to be more than just a store. We want to get it really into the agritourism thing.
Yeah, and you kind of figure out what you're good at. Maybe making the canned stuff is just not your thing. Like, but you can grow the heck out of certain things, and you get that feedback and use it, and you kind of figure out what makes you unique and different, and capitalize on that.
Yep. All right, man. Thank you, Lee. Hope I gave you some good info there. Feel free to write in anytime, man. Hope we helped you out. All right, Andrew writes in, hey, fellas, active listener of the show. You guys do your Made in America tribute at the end of every episode, and I know you're both gun toters. Have either of you looked into Magnum Research? Their rimfire rifles are pretty slick. I had the semi-auto 22 mag as my daily farm pickup carry gun. Made in USA and very, very well built. Give them a look. Enjoy the content. Keep up the good work. Thank you, man. Magnum Research. Do they make a 50 handgun? They're not the Desert Eagle. Yeah, they make the Desert Eagle.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure. Isn't that I think the Magnum
handguns. Yeah.
All right, I was gonna say I know Magnum Research. Yeah, because
is the Baby Eagle must be probably their rimfire.
Yeah, I have come real close.
Now the Baby Eagle's in 40 or 9mm.
Yeah, I didn't know they made any 22s.
Maybe it's only...
No pun intended, but I've almost pulled the trigger quite a few times on a Desert Eagle.
Yeah, it looks like their rimfires are just rifles. Magnum Light rimfire rifles.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, that's the great thing about when it comes to firearms. We could literally just do another firearm company
every episode.
There's certainly some imported brands of firearms. I'll admit, not every firearm I own is made in the USA, but it's pretty easy to buy made in USA firearms.
It is.
That's one thing.
That's cool to hear that the Magnum Research, because honestly, all I ever hear about Magnum Research is the Desert Eagle.
Yeah.
I mean, because that's kind of
that's where they made, say, like what we were saying. You find out what sets you apart. That's kind of what sets them apart. But they do. They got. I mean, these are.
Oh, those are cool looking. Like kind of competition style.
Yeah, kind of. In some ways, a little bit reminiscent of like a Bullhorn.
Yep.
Very, kind of higher end.
Do they have their prices on there?
Man, I don't know that they do, because I doubt you can buy direct from them. Maybe.
Yeah, I'd be curious to know what they list the Desert Eagles at. I almost bought a Desert Eagle a couple years ago because it was in a 50 AE, I think is the round. But I'll check that out, the 22. That's pretty cool. Bobby Lee, he really needs to, because he uses that. That could be a good squirrel gun or something. But so
I shot my 300 Win Mag and 7 Mag, and now me and Buddy Lee, that were getting ready to go elk hunting, shot a little bit yesterday, kind of ran out of time. And then I got home and my son saw where we still had a bunch of stuff set up. He's like, I want to shoot. I'm like, damn right. So he and I shot 22s yesterday afternoon.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nice. Well, man, appreciate you writing in. You said enjoy the content, keep up the good work. We will try to, and you do the same. Never hesitate to reach out to us, especially on a gun company. I do not own a Magnum Research, but I will I have definitely thought long and hard about it and hope to one day. All right. Eli writes in, Bobby, can I get your cattle feed plan? There you go. And
All right.
let me screenshot this and send it to him. And he says, hold on. All right. Sent to you. He said, I really appreciate the Talk Dirt to Me podcast and your Hurricane Creek Farms YouTube channel. I learn something new every day from both of these platforms. Thanks. Hey, man, we love the message. We love the support. And for reaching out, I have sent your information to Bobby Lee, so he will send you that, and hopefully not a wiener picture. You never know with Bobby Lee.
You never know. Man, I'm bad about sending those wiener pictures.
Just like Anthony Weiner, wasn't it?
I believe he was the one that was,
How fitting.
Ironically, yeah.
How fitting.
Yeah.
Anthony Weiner.
He was married. I'm pretty sure that she since divorced him. Probably nothing else, just because it was bad for politics. But that Hillary's like right-hand man was married to him. Right-hand woman, I guess.
Oh, really? Really?
That Huma Abedin or whatever.
Mm.
Yeah.
Huma Abedin?
Yeah, I probably butchered that name too. Yeah, that was a big thing. Like that was her husband. Like Hillary's like top aide. Was like married to like this dude.
Pervert.
Yeah, a total perv. Like
yeah, Anthony Weiner. I mean, man.
They're 22 rifles. I'm still doing the Magnum research. Like
so they're pretty affordable.
Gun broker, yeah, very affordable.
How about a Desert Eagle?
I looked at those just real briefly.
They're about 2,500, ain't they?
The ones I was looking at here on Gun Broker, which obviously some of them are like
crazy, gold.
Crazy. Just real quickly, I saw anywhere from 3,000 to 7,000.
Yeah.
These 22s are all less than $1,000.
Dang, well that's pretty awesome, and they look cool.
Yeah.
All right, John writes in, Bobby Lee, tell the guy that asked about starting in the cattle business that he could farm the land, then grass the cattle on part to start, but by the time he got the fence and working facilities done, the cattle price will probably be in the ditch. Then he could get in. The cow-calf business is like having a daughter who is your little broke buddy who thinks you're rich. Tax write-off is the key.
Yeah.
That's pretty accurate.
Yeah, everything's like in memes nowadays.
Yes.
There was a guy, there was one the other day, and I think I've seen it before. It's been reused and recycled, but it's like a buddy of mine asked me what it was like having cattle. He said, so I tore up all his fences and took his money.
Yep. Yeah. Well, dude, I like that. I like this here. Like he said, it's the cow-calf business. And I feel like that can relate to so much of ag. You could just say ag business is like having a daughter who is your little broke buddy who thinks you're rich. Yeah. Like that applies row cropping, my combine and them. Combines, track hoes, they all think the same because the thing breaks down and costs me freaking $2,000, $5,000. So, yeah. That's funny, man. That's good. John, appreciate you writing in, man. That is tax write-off is the key. Yes, find any tax write-offs you possibly can. All right. Hold on. Oh, hold on. I'll show that that's separate. Let me see. Okay. Bryson writes in. How's it going, fellas? Logan.
I'd actually already emailed him. He emailed me the other day. I was like, surely some of these. But yeah.
Okay.
He emailed me too. So.
Well, there you go. You get a shout out on the show.
Yep.
Bryson says, how's it going, fellas? Logan, I am disappointed you had given up on YouTube, but I can't hate on you too hard. Life/work has been running me harder than a sharecropper on a low rent mule, so I know how it goes sometimes. Hey, I actually busted the GoPro out 2 days ago, and I was videoing. And I'm like, man, I'm telling you, I want to do something different. I can't quite figure out what it is, but the gears are turning. If LH Farms, when it makes a return, expect it to be a little different. All right. And he said, I missed the last giveaway. Y'all need to keep it open a little longer next time. It only seemed like it was up for a week or two. Now, Bryson.
It was up for like 28 days.
Yeah, it was up for a month, man. I'm a little disappointed in you because you must not have been listening for a little while. You got to get on there. I need to actually remove that because it's still, when you get on the website, it like says congratulations, it's ended or whatever. Now he says, anyway, I saw this and thought it was pretty slick, and being that you utilize cover crops, you may be interested in it. Would definitely save time and money with commodity prices in the tank and would help with grain efficiency. Good luck with harvest. Oh, he sent a link, and I'll go into it because I actually had looked at this email, and I have since talked to the people that he sent me. Good luck with harvest this year, and Bobby, you have to use reverse psychology on them old farts. Them selling out of cattle, assuming prices rebound, would be a hell of an insurance to offset a shitty commodity price year.
Yeah.
Would.
Yep.
All right. He said, I forgot to put the link in the last message. So I went to this the other day, and it's pretty damn cool. They have this thing rigged up on their combine, and they've got like a tank on the combine, and it holds the cover crop seed. And the combine blows all the stuff out the back. And so they have it rigged up. I've been talking to the guy on LinkedIn, because I commented on the YouTube, because, man, they get a great cover. Like, they showed before, like, when they're doing it, and it's blowing everything out the back. And, the combine launches shit out the back whenever you're harvesting. So they've got, somehow it's rigged up to where the seed comes down and the combine blows it out the back. And so you're spreading the cover as you're going, and you're cutting. You're not having to make any other passes and all this. And they had phenomenal cover crop come up. Like the yield or the stand was great.
I wonder, does it? I'm sure. The technology's there. It's just how complicated you want to be. But we're like, when you stop, does the seed flow stop too?
I don't know.
Or like when you really slow down, so you're not putting down,
a ton
triple the rate in one spot, and then whenever you got a long straight pass, you're putting out, a whole lot less, per acre.
Yeah, I don't know. I just had been messaging the guy, because on there, it seems like it's like a couple of farmers that have built this thing.
Yeah, well, it makes sense. Like, yeah, save yourself a pass.
And dude, I'm telling you, the like stand of the cover crop, it looked great. It looked really good. And so yeah, I messaged them or just commented on their YouTube thing, and I said, man, I'd be very interested in learning a little more about this. So they reached out, and so we've been messaging back and forth on LinkedIn, because I have no idea the price, but it looks really cool. So Bryson, I have been looking into that, and man, like I said, you'll probably see a return to YouTube, but I don't know what it's going to be yet. I don't know. I hadn't decided. So, all right, we got time for at least one more. Appreciate you writing in, Bryson. Dane writes in. Dane, I'll spare your last name. Just don't want to blast your last name out there. Dane here, fellow haymaker and YouTuber. All right, well, then Dane Golsh here. I'll throw it out in case anybody's looking him up on YouTube. Fellow haymaker and YouTuber, when I'm not slacking. I feel you. From South Central Texas. Yeah, do you recognize that, Golsh?
I don't know what the name of his YouTube may be.
He said, I genuinely enjoy the entertaining and authentic take on agriculture you guys provide on this podcast. I've seen reels of clips of your podcast pop up on my news feed for some time. Finally decided to listen along, and glad I did. The most recent episode with William Lee struck a chord with me. I've been running our hay business since 2016, and we've had a great deal of growth. But as y'all mentioned, it's not getting easier, and I've had the urge to diversify into different avenues of the ag sector to try and spread the eggs between multiple baskets. We came out of 21 with record yields and tremendous growth, to then be followed by 2 years of extreme drought. Those 2 years quite literally took the wind out of our sails, almost to the point of quitting. But like every other farmer I've spoken with, something about farming just won't let me give it up. We're off to a banger year and our hopes are high. I love the idea of direct-to-consumer beef, even down to a USDA-inspected product offering. There's demand for it now, and only more to come. My question for you guys is, maybe geared more towards Bobby Lee. Are you finding the time and effort to raise and sell beef direct to be worth it compared to a standard cow-calf operation selling at the local sale barn? Do you think there's more to be made with selling under a private label and being USDA inspected? Also, if there was another stream of ag-related income you could chase, what would it be and why? Thanks again for the awesome content, and hope to hear back. Golsh Hay Farms.
Yeah, I just found him on YouTube. Yeah, Golsh Hay Farms on YouTube.
Well, good. Y'all go check him out.
TX Hay Farms on Instagram. Yeah, I just followed him on both, or subscribed on YouTube, followed him. So the direct to consumer, I think, is worth it. It's a little more labor intensive. You got to do a little more work as far as marketing. And again, I'm just selling whole animals basically, or at least half carcasses. So I'm not having to deal with the USDA inspection and selling individual cuts. And the thing I've heard from people that do that, it's, if you got a storefront, something like Logan's already kind of set up with, and you go through all that extra trouble, but of course, it's easy to sell your steaks and things like that, but some of your lower end cuts, you got to be a little more creative, which I've always just said, well, if people aren't wanting to buy your roast, just have a lot more of that ground up. Generally you can get rid of ground beef, but ground beef may really not be a money maker. You're probably not making your money on the steaks, and just maybe hoping to break even on some of those lower end cuts. So I do like the simplicity, especially with it just being my side gig, selling a whole carcass or a half carcass. I do think it, even once you figure in, cost you got tied up in that animal, and then your extra feed cost and everything, your time's the big thing, where if you put the pencil to it, you may not be making a whole lot per hour, but I think it is, you're capturing just a little more margin there than you are just selling weaned calves or background to yearlings.
Man, I think we've talked about this just not too long ago. If we figured up our hourly income, it's very bad. So I kind of, if I'm in the green at the end of the year after all the bills are paid, and I got like if I'm in the good side, I ain't looking red. I consider it a good year.
Yeah.
And like if I get to keep on keeping on, then I'm like, all right, we did all right, did okay. And and you'll have years where you'll make good money. And you're going to have some years like what we're in now.
Yeah, you better be smart on those years and not go out and buy a new pickup and new combine and all that. Know that might be 2 or 3 years before we have another good one like this. I might need to either invest this money in, non-depreciable assets that I can liquidate quickly if I need to.
Yeah.
Or, just stow it away somewhere.
Yes.
Dig a hole in the backyard and put it in a coffee can.
He also says if there was another stream of ag-related income you could chase, what would it be and why?
Another stream.
Oh, man, that's tough.
If I lost my veterinary license or something happened and I could no longer practice.
You failed for your toot. You do all the time.
Yeah, something, and so I was, I don't know. I don't know if I'd have the balls just to say, all right, I'm just going to try to make it straight up farming. But if I did, I'd probably just try to scale what I'm doing a little more.
About 5,000 head.
Well, or the direct to consumer to kind of stay on that. Because I feed out 9 head a year all at one time, and they're killed all within about 2 weeks of one another.
Yeah.
But I don't know that I'd want to be feeding cattle like this time of year. I mean, you could, but may try to stretch it out where I'm feeding, for 30 or 40 head out a year. Then I could get a little more creative marketing. Then if I really wanted to explore the USDA thing, that and pick up more hay ground. I don't know. The hay market's not like this year. There's probably going to be plenty of hay around.
Yeah.
But just trying to pick up and make a little extra money there. The one thing I've always thought about, and I don't know, especially with commodity prices and all where they are, ag's a tough space to begin with, but if you didn't want to be farming on your own, get a seasonal job like hauling, during harvest, helping guys out, maybe go invest in your own truck and trailer. And there's usually, generally plenty of guys that are looking for extra trucks to keep on the road. Maybe being a custom applicator. I don't know. That's a lot of investment there.
Dude, that's where I've thought about that and the custom thing, and I've kicked it around.
Like when you get caught up, custom spraying for other people.
I told my wife today, I said, with the way prices are, said if I can get in and I can get all my crops harvested, I said I'm probably going to reach out and try to do some custom harvesting this year. And I mean, I know a guy last year that did enough custom harvesting that he would have paid a combine note for like a brand new combine, and that just the custom work would have paid his note. So then he could have, worked his own ground and run a brand new combine. Which actually, that reminds me, I got to talk about something. I just thought of something big I forgot to mention.
But yeah, and it kind of trying to utilize stuff, because you've already got that combine.
Yeah,
you're going to put a little more wear and tear on it. But I've thought about that with the hay. I'm like, man, I need to upgrade mowers and probably eventually a rake. But otherwise, like I'm running really new tractors.
Yeah,
a practically new baler. Like I could.
Yeah, if you're hobbling through, it'd probably be hard to do. If I was running like a 9600 combine with 7,000 hours on it, and that thing is, I got her duct taped together and I'm praying that it finishes harvest. Probably wouldn't be a good idea for me to try to go seek out 1,000 acres of custom harvest. But I mean, I got that 680 and it's a solid machine. I mean, it's got enough age on it. Inevitably there's going to be some things that will happen, but overall it's a very solid combine. Yeah. So I'm not afraid to take on another 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 acres of harvest.
Yeah, and like I say, you got it and you're done. That or the hauling thing.
Yep.
Just little ways to help make ends meet. In these tough times. But
all right, I'm gonna add an element to it and ask you. All right, if you had to, let's say ag just shits the bed, you got to make what would be a stream of income you'd pursue outside of the ag sector, not veterinarian?
Oh,
you got to get real creative. You're like, man, you get your allergicness to cats. You can't handle the vet business no more.
I'm totally out of the vet field entirely.
You're out of the vet field and you can't get in the ag field.
Oh God, that's the only two things I've ever known. Hell, I might just get a job waiting tables or something. I don't know. I don't know. I'm in my 40s. I think I'm too old to go back to school.
Oh man, no, you ain't too old to go back to school. But you've done enough school. You probably wouldn't want to.
Yeah. I don't know.
No, there's no crazy job that tugs at your heart outside of those two industries.
Outside of those two, I don't know. I like running equipment, so running construction equipment or driving a truck, maybe. I don't know. I've never, because I've often thought, what if something happened to our practice? Well, I could get a job working, even if it's just at the emergency center or whatever. Or there's plenty of veterinarians that work outside of private practice, work in the industry, or hell, I could go be one of those assholes working for the government, being a inspector or some shit.
You'd be the one pulling people over, getting on to them.
Well, no, I don't know that I want to be in a true law enforcement job, but I don't know. A lot of it would depend on, am I really needing to work,
I want to say money's not tight. It's just, you just need to make a living.
Say I sell out of everything.
You got you're okay. Your house is paid for. Vehicles are paid off. You just got, normal living bills. Your wife's got a job. She makes pretty good money.
I don't know. I would like to get somehow involved, and I'm not a politician at all, but somehow I want to be volunteering or working somehow and trying to help with policy making.
I was gonna say, I could kind of see you entering the political realm.
Well, right, not as a politician, but trying to, I don't know, be part of a campaign. Help. Spread the word or help some of these dumbass politicians with their policy making. Hey, this is a stupid ass bill. Let's squash it, or we need to get this passed. Trying to make the world a little better place. Something like that. If I had to totally leave ag and the vet field entirely.
Well, there you go. Yeah.
And that would be, you know, because obviously a lot of those roles, I would assume, yeah, you probably have to get in first as a volunteer. So money probably can't be a primary factor.
Yeah.
into that.
No, I agree. Yeah. Yeah, man, I think
Sell feet picks.
feet pics, yes.
What's it? Foot Finder, Feet
See,
Finder?
feet finders, yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't know if my feet are pretty enough, but I don't know.
Dude, if I have, because I think about, especially when we have these kind of years, I'm like, man, what would I do? What would I do if I just had to get out?
Be like old Mike Honcho
Spread your butt cheeks.
for Playgirl magazine.
Yes. Yeah. I spread my butt cheeks. Mike Concho. Yeah. Dude, I mean, honestly, if I was out of ag, it'd be some form of media. It'd have to be. That's the route I'd want to go. I mean, hell, I always wanted to get in. I mean, that's when I had the movie thing going when I was younger. I'd probably push that back again. I don't know. That's my interest. So I would give that a shot. I would have to deliver pizzas at night, but I'd give that a shot.
Yeah.
So that's a cool question, Dane. I appreciate it, man.
I've always thought like delivering pizzas would be a pretty decent job. As long as you didn't have a bunch of assholes that didn't tip.
Yeah.
Which there's actually a young lady that works for us that
Doesn't tip.
No, I think she does because she's worked in that industry and she'd talk about. That's one thing. Like, tip your waitress or your waiter.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you, actually, several of the ladies that work for us had, you know, at some point, like when they were in high school or right out, had like waited tables or delivered pizza, that sort of thing. Buddy, they like every now and then we'll have a client come in. Somebody they hadn't done that in 15 years.
Yeah.
They're like, yeah, they used to come in to the restaurant, and they were the ones that would only round it up to like the next dollar for your tip. It'd be like
Gosh.
a 84-cent tip.
Yeah. Probably a
So, yeah,
$70, $80 bill.
Don't shortchange. A lot of those people, like, I mean, they're working that job because it's a starter job or whatever. It's a second job. They're trying to make ends meet. If you can afford to go out to eat,
You can afford
to give them a decent tip.
Dude,
and too, the other thing, and this makes me cringe as a Christian man, that they would say, a lot of them would always tell you the worst tipping crowd was
Sunday lunch.
the after church crowd.
Yeah.
I was like, man, like,
Yeah. I've always heard that.
yeah,
Yeah. That's terrible, man.
yeah.
I told Marcy,
I'll over tip just because, I mean, I look at them, I'm like, yeah, this is a young person that's trying to, you know, maybe it's a single mom. Yeah, I don't know their story a lot of times, but
if they're a shitty waiter or waitress, then honestly, they get about a standard tip.
yeah,
me.
yeah. I'll just say 20% is so easy to calculate.
Yeah.
But if they've been bad, like, all right, they get their 15%.
Yeah.
Like, that's,
Yeah. Even a bad waiter, I'm going to give them a tip. But that's what and look, these people.
Too, I go to these same places pretty regularly.
That's exactly what I was about to say. These people, honestly, we have a handful of restaurants right here, and yeah, I mean, I frequent them, and so they know your face, and I'll tell you, like, if you're a bad tipper, man, you can. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie Waiting, but I know what happens in the movie Waiting. Have you ever seen that?
I think you've shown me a couple of clips from it.
Man, it is disgusting. Some of the things they do in a restaurant. And I mean, and some of it's a movie, but this stuff happens. Like if you're awful to your waiter and waitress, it's no telling what you consume.
They remember because like this one young lady works for, like she hadn't done that for years. And like she'd be like, yeah, they used to come in the restaurant. They were terrible tippers. Like,
Yeah.
they don't forget that crap.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, be a good tipper for sure.
I don't even know how we got on that kick. Or we talk about delivering pizzas.
Yes, delivering pizzas.
You never know what kind of rabbits we're going to chase.
I've always thought, the same thing. I've actually, like, when things have gotten tight, because Domino's had, like, a thing up, and it was, like, $20 an hour for delivering pizzas. And I was like, hell.
Your problem is you're kind of like me. You don't have any vehicles that get even decent fuel mileage.
Oh, yeah, no. My diesel truck would burn that driving around everywhere.
Yeah, you need to get you a Prius to do that in.
Yes. All right, Dane. Appreciate you, man. We got couple more, but we'll have to get to you next time. I've got a badass company for us tonight,
Good deal.
and it's actually a friend of mine, so that makes it even better.
Hey, all these companies are friends of ours.
That's very true. Very true. Let me see,
I'm excited.
man. It's
I guess I could get on the ball. And
tune up our homie there.
still our commander in chief. We think.
Yeah.
We think.
Yeah, he may
although
be
we've
dead.
had proof of life in a while, but
Yeah, he could be dead.
which I don't want to get too far down the rabbit hole of politics. But like, how crazy is it that Kamala still has not taken a single question from anybody about anything? Like, her only appearances are like her just giving a choreographed speech, you
Yep.
know, and making an appearance. Like, it is wild
It is.
that like you really don't know what her thoughts are on anything, and like she won't take any questions. But I think they're generally scared to death of her answering a question.
Well, and I like how
She'll
they
say, well, then she'll give her a little cackle laugh.
and they keep talking about Trump is scared. They say Trump is
Oh, my
scared to debate
God.
her.
Like that-
I'm like, Trump ain't scared to debate that dumbass. Come on,
Trump
man.
is a lot of things, and some of them aren't good.
But
Like, they're not
scared
all
ain't
positive.
one of them.
But scared of her, like, are you kidding me? Like, come on, man. That's a bunch of malarkey.
Come on, man.
Words. Made in America.
All right.
All right. So I had this dude. We became buddies. I had him on my old podcast, and dude is always like, he's big into woodworking, and he's always like inventing stuff. And he actually messaged me a few weeks ago, and he said, man, I want to send you something that I'm working on. And he's good buddies. Remember Cruise Combat that I talked about?
Yeah, the workout gear.
Yep, he's really good. This is how crazy this world, like small world, this is. So we mentioned Cruise Combat, and then I shared it like on our page, and they responded and were like, "Oh, thanks, man." Well, then like a few days later, I get a message from Cruise Combat, and it's my buddy George. It's a video of him at a gym. He's like wore out, and he said, "Hey, this guy said he knows you." And so I was like, "Yeah, man, that's George." And I said, "How do you know him?" So the dude from Cruise said, "Man, crazy." He said, "I was literally just telling him, hey, man, two farmers were talking about our brand like the other day." He was like, "So cool." And he said, George goes, "Was it Logan Hanks?" And he was like, "How'd you know?" And so he said, "Yeah." So George,
Small world.
it is small world, man. The more you talk to people, the smaller the world gets. George has so he has come out with this new thing. He messaged me. He said, "Man, I want to send you this to try out." And propersavage.com is his website, and he has made these things. Check these out. So these are pinch grippers. They slide over your dumbbell or barbell.
I saw that made it to like my Instagram feed or
Really?
something the other day.
Well, they're awesome. See, it's like he has made these. They're all made in USA, made from American hardwood, and they are. It's like you can get them in a pair, and he's got a sale going on right now. Normally $90 for the pair, $69.95. Product description, it's all about hand strength, and he even talks about like on the farm, wherever you are, if you need to grab something. Rarely can you like actually get to, because if you can grab it with your full hand, hell, I can pick up a lot of weight. But if you gotta
someone's
like,
got an actual handle on it.
yeah, but if you gotta like, like a bunch of boards and you gotta grab them, man, that's hard to do. And so, I'm seeing, made in USA, solid American hard maple. They're very awesome. I've been using them now for a couple weeks. They are very humbling.
Yeah, they make it. What would be considered an easy amount of weight, much harder to handle.
the heaviest dumbbells I have at the house up there, I have 110s, and I can grab 110s, and I can pick them up like my grip can hold them. With the pinch grippers, I can pinch grip about 30 pounds and pick it up. It is substantial how bad it is. And I sent George like a video of them. I was like, dude, I was doing like curls with 20s, and I'm like, these are humbling as hell. And he was like, dude, they are. He said, but it absolutely torches your forearms. And dude, there's nothing manlier to me than like having strong hands. Like, there's like old dudes used to come in the shop. They had probably never lifted weights a day in their life, but like they shook your hand and felt like they were going to break your hand.
Yeah.
And Dad used to talk about this one guy. He was like a metal worker. He said he brought in this, like, it was like a sheet of metal and Dad needed it, and he was bringing it to him. He said he had it under his arm, and he said he
I
had
know who you're talking about.
one finger in the hole, and he was carrying it with one finger, and he said he set it down, and Dad said he went over to pick it up, and he was like, gosh damn, like he said he like barely could pick it up with both hands.
I've heard that story. I know exactly who it is.
Yeah, so I mean, dude, there's nothing like manlier than having some strong hands, and hell, I mean, it helps you on the farm. So Proper Savage, and
Yep.
again, you're supporting a dude that's a very pro America. It's all made in USA, and he's like, I mean, he lives, his values and our values are exactly the same.
Yep.
So go to Proper Savage. I would love for him to like suddenly be overwhelmed by, because he just released these like 2 weeks ago. So I'd love to see him like log in a couple days and be like, golly, like, you know, just slammed with orders.
Yep.
So check them out. You won't be sad. They are very humbling. And I mean, you can use them on a barbell, dumbbell, pull-up bar. If you send, I'll tell you right now, if you send this a video and you got them and you can do the clamp and you can do pull-ups with them, I would mail you a check for $500. Like that's how bad them things are. George is a monster. He cannot do them that way either. But if you can, literally, I'd give you $500. So yeah, propersavage.com. Check them out.
Yep. Also, y'all know to go to agzaga.com. Yeah,
Yep.
check out all the good things. I know they've been running a deal on the ag sprayers, but the Bayonet wrap, you know, we're not going to be able to list everything they got, but they're your online ag retailer. Use
Yep.
that discount code.
Talk Dirt, all one word, all caps. Use it. Leave us a comment, leave us a rating and a review, and guys, share this. Share it. Tell some people about the show. We're growing. We're excited. So spread the word for us. Share it on social media. But like I said, tell somebody. So
Yep.
all right. Catch you guys next week.
Yep.